The moon hung low in the sky, shrouded by a veil of clouds. A lone figure wandered through the silent streets, his footsteps soft against the cold pavement. The city, with its distant lights and empty alleys, offered no comfort. There was no solace to be found in a place he once knew, only memories that flickered like dying embers, remnants of a time when happiness still seemed possible. The man had escaped a past that should have left him free. His childhood, though now behind him, had been a prison. He had known pain too young, the kind that lingers in his bones. His mother's anger, her neglect, had a twisted view of what a family could be. Every day had been a struggle in that house, an emotional gauntlet where silence was safety and love, if it existed, just another word for control. The years had passed like a blur. Eventually he left, but the damage lingered. Now his father was gone. The man he had never really had a chance to know, the one person that might have given him something real to hold on to, had vanished from his life like the last leaf falling from a dying tree. There had been so many missed moments, too many chances left untaken. The regret twisted inside him like a knife, sharp and unforgiving. His mother remained, indifferent and cold as ever. She continued to breathe, continued to haunt his thoughts. How had fate been so cruel, leaving the one person he might have loved out of reach forever, while the source of his childhood misery remained? He stopped at a corner of an empty intersection. He glanced up, his eyes following the weak glow of a street lamp that flickered in and out, as though fighting to remain alive, just like him. It seemed to struggle against the darkness, but the light was fading, dimming with each passing second, much like his hope for happiness. There had been a time, though, brief, distant now, where he believed he could find it. He called out into the void, searching for something or someone to save him, but the world never answered. No one had heard. Love had been there too once, a brief flash of warmth in an otherwise frigid life, but like all things, it had slipped away. It left him wondering if love had ever truly existed, or if it had just been a fleeting illusion, a cruel trick played by the universe. He wandered forward through the desolate night. As the weight of loss bore down on his shoulders, his heart felt like it was encased in stone, heavy with the burden of the world that had never given him a fair chance. He had fought and fought, but the fight had never been fair. The world had taken and taken, leaving him with nothing but faint echoes of memories of what used to bring him joy. Now even those memories were slipping from his grasp, dissolving like mist in the morning sun. His breath formed small clouds in the cold night air. His feet carried him, unthinking, to the edge of the city. There, in the half-light of the moon, he looked out into the abyss of his own thoughts. It was as though sadness had consumed everything, leaving him trapped in an endless loop of sorrow and regret. He felt like a prisoner of his own mind, and the bars of his cell were invisible but stronger than steel. The night stretched out before him, vast and uncaring. Yet he was still standing. Alone, yes, but standing nonetheless. The world had tried to break him. It had thrown pain and loss his way, time and time again. It had taken his father, his chance at love, his hope for something better. It had taken his joy and left him with nothing but the shadows of what used to be. But in those shadows he still stood. He raised his eyes to the sky. The moon remained hidden behind the clouds, but he knew it was there, just out of sight. Much like the memories, much like the light. They were fading, but not entirely gone. And so, alone, under the weight of all that has passed, he continued to walk. So that's the story behind the song Loss. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try put a little story like this with every one of my songs. And if you haven't heard the song Loss, there should be a link in the description. Otherwise, hope you guys have a good evening. Be good to each other. And see you in the next one. Okay, bye!